everybody, and welcome to Week 12 of the high school football season. We are past the home stretch. We are heading towards the finish line. My name is Scott Franco with the Altoona Mirror on YouTube TV, joined again by all things high school football. I've given him that mantra. Mike Boyden, and we're going to talk about some playoff games. We're going to get right into it. This is still our cups. Still no green. We'd like to have some more red, but we love the people that have sent us our cups this year. In our Ravens Cup. Our first game we're going to look at is the game that I'll be going to and attending. It is 10-1 District 10 champ Oil City versus Hollidaysburg, the District 6 representative. This is a rematch of last year when Mike went up to the frozen tundra. I think it was at
Franklin High School.
Yeah, because I didn't want to go to that game because there was snow, and Mike's not afraid to drive in snow. But I believe Oil City was undefeated at that time too, and Hollidaysburg beat them. Oil City is again undefeated, playing a 6-4 Hollidaysburg team. Tell people a little bit about this Oil City team.
Well, they had one loss last year, and then two after Hollidaysburg beat them. Now they had a great running back, an all-state running back, and now they have another great running back. This guy's a fullback last year. He's really big. He's like 215, 220, but he can run away from you. And, Coach Delatry is a little worried about it because he said that there's been some issues with tackling and that he really hopes that, the Hollidaysburg can wrap guys up and everything. But you got Hunter Barr back in there. You're getting healthier. And Hollidaysburg is the healthiest it's been all season at this point. And at least they're going to be able to give Oil City their best shot.
Yeah, and Hollidaysburg's linebackers are really tough. Hunter Barr, he talked about. Hunter Gibbons is another one as a junior. Trent Paddock, when he sometimes lines up at either DN or linebacker. And I was told also that Oil City has an offensive lineman who's a ninth grader, but he plays. He's pushing 6'4", 6'5", and he's well over 300 pounds. So that's the kind of guy that could give a team like Hollidaysburg trouble because their problem this year has been the running game and getting that line going. They may have to pass the ball quite a lot to win this game. And the winner of that game, if Hollidaysburg wins, they will play either East Stroudsburg South or Southern Lehigh, or if Oil City wins, they will get that winner. Our next game is the Battle of the Bishops, Bishop McCourt at Bishop Guilfoyle. Big rivalry. Gosh, dating back to I went to BG 1983. That was a rivalry back then. Did they play each other this year already?
Yep, they played in Week 10. It was 22-7 BG in the last week of the season. And the McCourt was hurt by a lot of penalties in that game. They had 126 yards in penalties, and Coach Basile's hoping to clean that up this time when they're playing each other, and he thinks that could even the game out a little bit.
Now, did Myrick play for BG?
Myrick played, yeah.
So there you go. So, and he's healthy again.
He's healthy.
And Homan's been playing quarterback.
Yep, and Will Miller is a very talented player for McCourt. So he ripped up Glendale last week. He was able to break their defense after their defense held up for a long time.
And he's the kind of kid I covered at Cambria Heights McCourt game last year. He returns kicks. He's real good on defense.
He'll line up as a receiver.
Yeah,
and do everything.
If they could get some help for him, maybe that'll be a closer game. Our next game then is Purchase Line, the 7 seed, going to Portage, number 2 seed. Portage just seems like they're on a one-way ticket to that final, but does Purchase Line have a shot at this one?
Well, any shot they had is a little hurt because apparently I was talking to Coach Gauss and he was at the Blairsville Purchase Line game, and Josh Seister, Purchase Line's top player, he suffered an injury and they're not sure whether he's going to play this week. Now Portage is preparing as if he's going to play, but that would be a hard blow for Purchase Line to be able to pull off the upset if he doesn't get in there.
And I got to think a veteran coach like Gary Gauss too is not going to let them look ahead to the next game, even though as sports writers that's what we do. But our next game, the one that I'm kind of curious about, is Westinghouse out of the Pittsburgh area versus Bedford. Westinghouse has, I heard this the other day, it was in the newsroom, has a Division I kid on their team.
Yeah, they have a defensive end who's going to Pitt.
And Bedford has to deal with this kid now.
Yeah, and they also have a quarterback who transferred from Butler, from the Whippeal. And that's someone that Bedford didn't have to deal with last year. They actually handled Westinghouse pretty well last year. I think it was 47-16.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
So they Westinghouse will have to do a lot of work to turn that around, but they have a few new players, so it should be interesting to see how it goes. But Bedford also is playing some new players with Mercury Swaim at the quarterback position, and Steven Ressler is now their top receiver. He was a quarterback last year.
And also, every year I worry about Westinghouse being too athletic for a team like Bedford, and yet Bedford has won those games. So it's Kevin Steele, the coach there, always seems to be prepared for anything. Our other game we're going to look at again is Chestnut Ridge, Berlin. Gosh, looking at Mike's stats here, they've outscored Berlin 155-38 in their 4 times they've played since 2010. Does Berlin have a shot in this game?
You know, when I talked to Berlin's coach at Westpac Media Day 2 years ago, he said, "You better get us this year because we're going to be really good coming up." Well, this is the class that's coming up that they think can be really good. Now, they got beat pretty bad in the playoffs last year by Chestnut Ridge, but Ridge has been slumping a little bit toward the end of the season here, so they had to bye to get things figured out, and we'll see if they can get things going again going into the state playoffs.
And my only reference that I can give you on Berlin is that these guys are tough kids. I know in 8th grade, which would be their 10th grade class right now, my sons played them in a 8th grade football game, and Holliesburg beat them 8-6. We had to score like in the last 30 seconds of the game just to beat Berlin. Berlin wasn't afraid to play a school the size of Holliesburg, so they're not going to be afraid of Chestnut Ridge, though I'm probably more afraid for Berlin than they should be. Our next game, it looks like this is going to be at Holliesburg, if I understand correct. You're going to this game.
Yeah.
Northern Bedford at Tussey Mountain. I'm going to think those crowds are going to fill the stands there. Northern Bedford, the 2 seed, Tussey Mountain, the 1 seed. They already played this year, and Tussey Mountain won by 10, I believe.
Yeah, they won by 10. It was a great game, went back and forth. Northern Bedford was up 2 in the 4th quarter, had a chance to go up by even more, and they got stuffed on 4th and 1 on the 15-yard line of Tussey. Then, when Tussey took the lead, Northern Bedford had a chance with a long kick return and then fumbled on their next play. So they were right there with Tussey. Now, they had some big plays in that game, and I'm sure Tussey's going to be aware of that this time and trying to guard against that. I think they had 3 different drives that were one-play drives. So Tussey's going to be trying to guard against the big play, and Northern Bedford's defense has improved a lot throughout the season, and they're going to be trying to limit Tussey and all their weapons like Caden Luco, Jared Sipes, and Tyler Rhodes.
And I'm curious to see what those teams are going to be like on turf as well. And also, Mike had a great trivia question. And the Mears coverage area this year, and we cover over 20 teams, who has thrown the most touchdown passes of any quarterback in our coverage area? And it was Northern Bedford's Thad Leidy has 21. And I know that we were sitting, I guess none of us was guessing that name, but I got to think that he's going to be a big difference if Northern Bedford's going to come out on top in that game. Our next game is another one where it's the battle of the undefeated. It's Bellwood Annis at Ligonier Valley, but Mike has it. They're both combined 22-0, and people think Bellwood Annis has got a shot at that game. I was afraid to pick them because it's at Ligonier Valley. Ligonier Valley's just pretty much beat up everybody they played this year. I mean, I got to think Bellwood Annis has the card stacked against them.
Well, just look, they played a 1-loss Portage team in the Appalachian Bowl, and I think it was 58-6 or something like that. Ligonier has a lot of really good players. Now, Ligonier won their game against West Shamokin last week, and Kai Miller, their star running back, did not play in that game. He got injured at the end of the Appalachian Bowl, and I mean, Nick Lovrich is preparing as if he's going to play against Bellwood this week, but I'm not sure whether he will or not. So that could open the door for Bellwood. I mean, this is an 11-0 team. We can't underestimate them. They have a whole new set of players than last year's team that lost 34-7, and anything can happen. It's these teams are all high-level teams.
And I got to think Bellwood's game plan, they got to have like 15, 16 play drives. That way when Ligonier, and then score touchdowns, not field goals. And then that way if Ligonier Valley gets the ball, then they're behind, and they got to score and keep up with them because you can't get in that. Bellwood can't have to play from behind because I don't know if they're going to be able to pass as well as they can run the ball. But that's just a sports writer, just looking at it from the outside. Our next game we want to look at is Claysburg-Kimmel, a 5, at Salzburg, a 4 seed. Now, even though I'm looking at Mike's stats here, Salzburg has won 12 games the last 2 seasons. Claysburg Kimmel has a decent shot at this game. Claysburg Kimmel's a nice team for a 5 seed.
Yeah, and they're just getting healthy. I mean, they won. They did pretty well in the regular season without their guys, and now they're getting Zach Claycomb back. Kobe Harris healthy. Preston Bush is back, and Coach Bilchak actually said this week he has a problem. His problem is he has too many good players now. He can't get them all into the field.
I know a lot of single A schools would love to have his.
So I mean, Claysburg was a fourth down stop away from making the semifinals last year against Juniata Valley. This is their chance to get into the semifinals this year if they can knock off Salzburg.
And I'm going to give a shout out real quick to, I covered a Claysburg Kimmel game last year. I believe Seth Musselman plays for Clays linebacker. He hit a kid, tackled a kid so hard, the kid's helmet came off, and I was terrified. I thought the kid's head was in the helmet. And I was so grateful that it wasn't, as I imagined the kid who got tackled was too. But this kid is a beast on defense for Claysburg, and I think Salzburg will find that out at some point Friday night. Our last game we're looking at is Homer Center, the 6 seed, at Juniata Valley, the 3 seed. They met the 2013 playoffs last time. Homer Center won 41-6. Nobody left from that game other than maybe the coaching staff for that. I got to think Juniata Valley's got to try and not look ahead to what with the semifinals next week. Right. What do you think of Homer Center's chances in this one?
Well, Homer Center has a really talented quarterback, Ben Schmidt, who has been around the program for a long time, and that's who jumped out on tape to Coach Musser. Now, the thing is Juniata Valley, they have a couple new players in big, important spots like Caden Rupert and Ryan Beatrice, but these guys have gained maturity throughout the year, and Coach Musser says they have plenty of experience and maturity, and that he thinks that they're going to be able to carry them as they try to remember this is the defending champion. They're trying to repeat as district champions. So.
And the next week when we talk about these matchups, we will not have Mike with us. I was going to say Mike's going on assignment, but he's going on vacation. So we're going to have to come up with a guest host. In fact, Mike doesn't even know this. I was thinking that we were going to have a contest where I just tell people to email in suggestions of who should co-host with me next week. But I think we're going to end up getting somebody from the Mirror staff. Maybe Neil Rudell will grace us with his presence, and I'll let him drink from his Ravens cup. But we're going to look at, hopefully a lot of these local teams on this list here will be winners this weekend, and we'll be talking about them again next week. Maybe we'll get Mike on the telephone from his vacation spot, and our director Sarah can put his picture in the corner of the comments. If we could we do that? Do I get a nod from off camera there?
Or maybe you could have your brother on the show since he likes to do high school football shows.
He could. He'd have to come in and everything. I don't know. I mean, I love my brother. I know my brother loves me, and this is where I'm going to get a sound effect put in. But I don't know if he wants to talk with me for 20 minutes about high school football. But we'll see. But for Mike Boydum, I'm Scott Franco with the L2 Mirror. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next week for Week 13 of the high school football season.